It is Tuesday evening, and you know what that means. It is time to get raw. It is time to get down. It is time for the RAWDOWN, the number one source for all things WWE, right here on the Turnbuckle Tavern. I am your host, Young Anthony of the Titantron podcast and the Classic Match Classroom, joined as always by my co-host, Boney Khan of Coming Down the Aisle, and Marco, the MVP of the Chick Foley Show. Gentlemen, how are we doing on this evening?
We're doing great. You know, just the shirt, just like the shirt says from Smart Mark Sterling, I'm billing you for this conversation.
Well, I mean, a lot to look forward to on this episode. A lot of stuff to talk about. Corey Graves coming back. You know, will we see an in-ring return for him? We have another person wanting their release that'll actually kick off the show. Plus, a press release put out by the WWE taking shots at AEW. All of that, plus we'll figure out who won the week between Raw and SmackDown. But before we do that, just a quick note. We want to make sure that we plug the Turnbuckle Tavern because we're doing some amazing work over here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, do whatever you need to do to support the channel. Plus, if you are following us over at, well, you're not following us, but if you can go over to prowrestlingtees.com/tavern, you can see that we have some brand new RAWDOWN merch, plus some new Young Anthony and Boney Khan shirts, Boney Shivani shirt, a Hollywood Tony shirt, which is finally on sale. Plus, you can go over to Teespring, where you can get the official logo on a lot of those shirts and mugs and whatever else. Plus some stickers, and everyone wants a sticker, don't they? But nevertheless, yes.
We need to get Marco a shirt, man.
True. I mean, I guess RAWDOWN, you know, but he needs his own shirt.
No, he needs his own
MVP shirt, you know.
Now that he's part of the team, you know.
Yeah,
we gotta get Marco.
We'll let you design your own shirt, Marco.
Awesome. I'll have to hook up with Extra Cooler and see what we can come up with.
Have your people contact our people.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Before we get into the episode, just a shout out to Tyson being in the chat. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. And as always, we are going to kick off today's episode with some news.
Outside the ropes.
So we have a lot of news to discuss here on today's episode, and we're going to kick things off with a brand new segment that we like to call
You're fired.
You're fired.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
You're fired. I suppose you're fired.
How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off?
That's already a favorite of mine.
I like how you use that. It was pretty good.
So,
fired on your day off.
Shout out to Chad on that one for making that. So we have another person requesting their release in the WWE. Hasn't been granted yet, but with the trend that we've been seeing, probably will be. Mustafa Ali has requested his release. Did he win the Cruiserweight Championship? I don't remember.
Yeah,
former Cruiserweight champion. Was supposed to be facing Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Former almost Money in the Bank winner. Former leader of Retribution. All of our favorite, stable. And just all around great wrestler has requested his release. He posted it on Twitter that he has other plans that he wants to do outside of WWE or maybe outside of wrestling. Who knows? So he is requesting his release. So I want to kick this off to Marco. What were your initial thoughts when you saw Ali requesting his release?
I mean, it kind of doesn't come as a shock to me at all that he's going to, try to get out of his contract at some point. I mean, he's definitely been way underutilized. If you followed him since he started in WWE, I mean, they did kind of give him that push, like you mentioned with the WrestleMania run and everything. But obviously, he got injured, and Kofi, stepped in and took that over. But I mean, just from the stuff that he posts on Twitter, I mean, obviously he still is with the company, but the stuff that he does post is a lot of political stuff and
Right.
a lot of stuff that in the real world as well as wrestling. So you can kind of tell he kind of lived on that. He kind of like rode the fence a little bit. And I know one of the rumors that I read was he had a huge kind of like argument with Vince McMahon about a gimmick that they wanted him to do. And I think he released, if you guys follow him on Twitter, he actually released the trailer for his new gimmick, that the one that he like came up with. It was kind of like a political figure where he was like, going for a new America,
Right.
essentially. And he's, definitely awesome on the mic, definitely great mic worker, obviously super skilled in the ring. I mean, probably one of the best talents that they have there. So, I mean, obviously, if he does get his release, he's going to be gold anywhere he, steps foot. But I mean, like I said, it's not a shock to me that he left. I can kind of see it. If he was one of the ones that was going to ask for the release, I can see he was going to be the next one.
And it's just another case of a great talent, and there's just no direction for him.
Yeah.
And I love those promos that he posted on Twitter. Very, a lot of people thought it was controversial, but
Yep.
The way that he was able to present himself, it just showcases like how great of a talent he is. JBone, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not kind of just right there with you. I mean, it doesn't really come to a surprise when I first read it. I think the surprise was, or the interesting thing, was he says that he's dreaming of bigger things, and I'm kind of interested to see what that is. I mean, he's very first of all, he's very big in his faith, and I can respect that without a doubt. He just all around just seems like a genuine good person.
Very family oriented too.
Very
Always posting
oriented.
about them.
Yep.
And I have a lot of respect for him for like kind of like combating that stereotypical Middle Eastern wrestling character that he's like, I'm not doing this crap. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not the Iron Sheik. I'm not, mainly for a couple reasons. One, it's the correct thing to avoid cultural appropriation in that sense. And two, it's boring. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen it before, so I definitely have a lot of respect. Now, here's the issue: where does he go? AEW's is pretty full over there. In my opinion, Impact, he could go Impact. I think Impact has some room. He would look great in the X division.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
GCW. GCW is definitely an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Or just doing the independents, going back to independents. As a whole. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where he goes.
And it's so weird because we're getting to that point where WWE is releasing so many people, and so many people are going to other companies that, for me at least, and maybe this is a hot take, but and I won't play the sound effect for that one, but I feel like we're at the point where it's like there's so many people entering all of these different companies that it's almost like there's not enough companies for these guys. And I look at it like Ali, like obviously AEW is the main place that everybody's going to say, but there have been a lot of guys going to AEW that just have no place. And I think Ali's an exception because he's great on the mic. He already has that star power to him. So it just makes you think, like, if there's not a set spot for him, is it the right spot for him? Marco, what do you think? Do you think AEW is the spot for him, or would you go somewhere else?
I mean, just to say what Boney Khan, just to ride on what he said. Definitely not AEW right now. Anyway, it seems like for AEW, like obviously they're the thing is they're signing literally everyone that gets released by WWE, which I think right now they're kind of like setting in their ways now. It seems like they got the star power that I think they need. I don't think they need any more star power. You get your Daniel Bryan, you got Adam Cole. You're gonna expect Kenny Omega to come back sometime soon. Mox will be back, so like I don't think they need to sign any more guys. I think Ali would. I mean, he would definitely benefit in New Japan as well.
That's true.
Mainly like his style. He has that. Like Jay White. I always say he's like he's kind of like the WWE guy, like the style of WWE in New Japan.
Right.
And I think like taking everything that Ali learned in the WWE and bringing it over to New Japan, they can give them that look as well. So I mean, I would love to see a Kota Ibushi Ali match. That'd be pretty insane. But he'd probably like obviously be in the lower weight class because he's a smaller dude. But yeah. I'm thinking New Japan for him. Even MLW right now, they have the MLW Azteca that they just started up with like more of the lucha style of wrestling. So I mean, if I'm him, I'm hopping around everywhere. I'm not settling in one spot.
And we already know that WWE and MLW are best friends right now.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I chuckled at it. With all these releases over the past year, or really 2 years now, it's created this. President Reagan. I know young Anthony. He was a president in the 80s.
Yes.
You act like I don't take history classes.
Anyway, he did this trickle-down economics, right? Well, this is like trickle-down wrestlers, because we're getting to a point where, it's trickling down. It's AEW's caught the big filter, right?
Yep.
You're going down, but who's winning is independent wrestling, because now you have a lot of companies getting a lot bigger because they're having these talents. And I'm not just talking about GCWs. I'm talking about Beyond Wrestling. I'm talking about Blitzkrieg Pro. I'm trying to think. Limitless. There's a ton of companies out there. I think we're having some audio issues, Marco.
Oh, Warrior Wrestling. I was going to say.
Oh yeah.
Warrior Wrestling, big time wrestling over up in the East.
Yeah. There's a lot of independent pro wrestling companies that they're getting there, and a lot of that too also has to help with the internet. The internet's also good, so it features all of these talent, but you have a Mustafa Ali going to if he goes to Beyond Wrestling, or whatever, the people are going, oh, that's where he went. Let me go check it out, and they're going to check out the whole card, and they're going to see Teddy Goods and all the other superstars over there. So. I think it's great. I mean, I'm happy to see it. So I'm happy that wrestlers don't just have to go to AEW.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I think there's a spot for him anywhere, even AEW. I think they can find a spot for him definitely with just the talent that he was able to showcase in WWE. So I'm excited to see what happens next. I do hope that he gets granted his release, which I doubt would be not the case, but we'll see. So hopefully everything works out there.
Well, yeah, there's one little note, because before that he actually asked for his release. Supposedly came out that WWE was granting releases unless they felt like it was someone that they wanted to keep.
They just granted Tony Storm's release. So
yeah.
Who knows? But nevertheless, we're going to move on. Before we do, just a shout out to Austin. Thank you for coming in. Also, Austin is going to be at AEW tomorrow.
Nice.
First show. Enjoy. It's a lot of fun. Also, Tyson corrected us. He was not the Cruiserweight champion. I don't know. I thought he was. I could have sworn he won that title.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he lost to Cedric Alexander. I think he battled him. And it was at WrestleMania, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the pre-show? Yeah.
It
was a good match, too. I remember that being a good match. Nevertheless, we can move on to our next topic. So, we had a very shocking press release from the WWE calling out AEW about the blood and guts, gore, self-mutilation of the product. I have the quote right here.
Okay, good.
And I quote, "If you look at the gory self-mutilation that bloodied several women in the December 31st event on TNT, it quickly becomes clear that these are very different businesses. We had an edgier product in the Attitude Era And in a 2022 world, we don't believe that the type of dangerous and brutal display is appealing to network partners, sponsors, venues, children, or the general public as a whole. End quote. All right. So who wants to take on this one first?
Well, so actually, I got in a kind of a little bit of an exchange through the DMs on Instagram with this.
Oh boy!
Shout out to my boy Joey. So I just find it very hypocritical of them to release this statement, and a little misogynistic in a way. So, for one thing, as far as the hypocritical stuff, you look at the end of, what was it, 2019? They burnt a human being.
2020.
I'm sorry, 2020. Yeah, they burnt. Now, granted, that was a dummy. We know that, right? But if you're a kid and you're looking at this and you're seeing, okay, couple of young women who got a bloody face, and you're seeing a burnt body. I mean,
even I had to replay it. I was like, wait a second, hold on. I had to do a replay.
What are we doing here? Gory self-mutilation? And then, of course, you have the eye poke, which, God, that was probably the worst wrestling angle of all time.
Yeah.
But still, Rey Mysterio, he's got fake blood coming out of his eye. Again, as a kid, you look at that and go, oh man, Rey Mysterio just lost his eye. They even sell all the toys, most of the Rey Mysterio toys with the eye patch. Okay, so you talk about gory self-mutilation, and on top of that, it's like they're directing look, it's okay for the men to do it, but for these girls to do it, no, it's not okay. So you shouldn't be watching this crap. Don't do that. That's the tone I got from it.
Yeah. Okay.
And but you know what? If it's a shot, I'm okay with it at the same time. If they're using it to take a shot back at AEW, good. I think it's very cowardly way to do it, because you got Tony Storm, putting Nick Khan on blast, putting Vinnie Mac on blast, putting the whole company on blast. And what do? They release this little PR stunt in the Toronto Sun on the behind a paywall, the article, So I think it's pretty cowardly. So
I just think it's a weird shot at AEW.
Yeah.
I was watching that match, and I loved it. I thought it was one of the better matches of that week, of that month, just because of how unique it was. For Boney, that you said the whole idea of it being misogynistic. I can even see that. I know that WWE doesn't necessarily go down the route of showcasing women bleeding or whatever, but it obviously happens. We're all human. It's not this shit doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So for AEW to take it to that level, and they've done it multiple times. Britt Baker has a figure of herself that is literally there. It is.
Yeah, there it is. Bloody Britt.
Yeah, Bloody Britt. It happens. So the fact that they took the shot in that regard, it's just weird. I wouldn't necessarily call it cowardly, because if anything, it's the opposite. I think it's very bold of them to take that shot because of how dumb it is. But
it's just where they put it, where they put the statement. Like I said, it was behind a paywall.
Oh, behind the paywall. Yeah.
On Toronto Sun's paper. Who's sitting there oh, I wonder what the Toronto Sun said today.
Yeah, that's true. Tyson says, my response to Vince and WWE management: the women of AEW got bigger balls than you. I like it. Man. Marco, what are you thinking?
The only thing I can just reading that, the only thing I can think of is, in business terms, not really taking shots at AEW in the, in the terms of their women and what they can and can't do and that type of stuff. I think it's more or less we're WWE, we have, we're a publicly traded company. We would never allow our talent to, bleed all over themselves and stuff like that. We have basically, it's kind of saying all advertisers come to us. as opposed to going to AEW because they're kind of like trash TV and where we're better essentially. That's to put it in a nutshell. I do like John's angle with that, with the picking apart like the women essentially in that statement. You could definitely like go line by line in that statement and definitely pull out the stuff that John did. But for an overarching thing, I think it's more or less like people with money just battling it out. The Khans have money, the McMahons have money, and it's basically just like a money fight. Essentially, to me, that's what I got from it. It's basically just like, hey, all those advertisers that they have, just drop them. We'll take you guys on. We don't. Our women don't bleed over here. We don't put our women through that type of torture and all that stuff. You send your money this way. Don't send it that way. And the other thing is, it could be a threat, to them. At first, I didn't think that, WWE seen AEW as any competition, but now I'm kind of, I always held WWE. If you listen to Chick Foley show, I always say WWE sees them as an entertainment company, not a wrestling company. They do episodic television. They don't do wrestling matches. Wrestling matches carry along the storylines, which is the storylines of the overarching thing. But now with a statement like that, it does kind of seem like they're, kind of recognizing AEW as a, as a viable, competitor.
I still don't think that they're seeing them as competition. I think, if anything, this is kind of them just undermining them. Like they're kind of saying, like, oh, they got all this gore and blood. It's like they're saying that alone makes them not competition to us. I will always see it as WWE, like you said, sees himself as an entertainment company, and that's the reason why AEW is not competition to them, or any wrestling company for that matter, because WWE is bigger than wrestling at this point. As much as we hate to admit it, like that's what it is, and
Kleenex,
for better or for worse, that is. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Like I said, I just think this is a strange way to go about taking a shot at them.
It is.
I would love to see it more often, though. I think AEW's taking a lot of shots at WWE, but now you're starting to see WWE take those shots back at them, which is always good. I think it's cool. Plus, with this whole, Forbidden Door stuff going on, I think it's just very interesting that you're starting to see WWE interact with MLW, AEW, Impact, all these different companies. I think it's really cool. We have a comment here from Austin. WWE is definitely starting to recognize AEW, especially if they resurface that was their product back in the 90s, and WWE is scratching the surface of the Forbidden Door. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. We also have a comment from Nick Arias, which we'll keep on the back burner until we get to the NXT report. But no, I think you're definitely right here. And
real quick too, before we move on, I was listening to JR Grilling with JR too. They were talking about the '97 Royal Rumble, but there was a live wire segment. It was a show they had in the '90s that Jim Ross was on, and he was like talking shit about WCW. And like I want to see more of that. And people, they get all cringy whenever Tony Khan talks about WWE. This is what happened in the Monday Night Wars. You want the Monday Night Wars back? This is what a way to do it.
My favorite one is when JR just goes off on the fans that are calling in. They're like, when's the Macho Man coming back? The WWF is rooted in younger talent. We're investing in their younger talent.
That's exactly the episode he was talking about.
Great.
And like you kind of mentioned, it's only, when you talk about Tony Khan like taking shots, it's only cringy because there's nothing coming back from the WWE.
Right.
It's basically just him like saying it out in the wind, and then it just blows off. But now with that, like you said, with behind the paywall. I mean, they're responding, not out in the open, but I think it's gonna come to at a point where someone's gonna come out and say something. Like you're definitely gonna hear like an executive come out and say something like not behind a paywall, but in an interview or an article. Could be Bruce Pritchard. It could be anyone, John Laurinaitis, one of those guys. I don't think Nick Khan will say anything, but I could be wrong anyway. But
comment from Tyson: gory self-mutilation. That's what you see in horror movies, not wrestling. Well, I mean, if you're watching WWE, you can compare it to a horror movie with the shit that they've been doing.
definitely.
But that's another topic for another time. I think it's time that we move on to another outside the ring discussion, and I believe it's our last before we get into another segment, and that is that we have a possible return coming in the near future, and that is off of the announce table as Corey Graves has been cleared for in-ring action. It was the news was broken by Fightful, and now this starts to bring up rumblings. Will we see him in the Rumble? Rumblings, pun intended. What will we see in the future for the future announce team? You know, a lot of different things that are coming out here with Corey Graves coming back. I think it's awesome that he's, you know, finally cleared. I personally would rather see Corey Graves in the ring than I would hearing him on commentary.
I'm the opposite.
Really, I can't stand him on commentary. That's the only reason.
Well, that's yeah. Does he annoy you, or is it just?
I mean, well, I think it also has to do with the fact that he was with. 1 second, he was with what's his name, Michael Cole for a while.
Yeah.
So you know he was doing really great with him over on SmackDown. But once he, you know, was moved over to Raw, you could tell that he didn't like the environment. Like, sure, he's cool with Byron Saxton and everything.
Yeah.
You know, once he was moved over, I thought it was just, you know, it didn't really work when he was on Raw. So now to see him over on, you know, back as a wrestler, I think it'd be a cool dynamic.
Yeah.
Especially since the last time we saw him wrestling was like, what, 8-9 years ago, you know, coming in on a decade that we haven't seen Corey Graves in the ring. So I think it's pretty interesting. Boney, what are your thoughts?
Well, I would like to see him help out Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns. You know, yeah, there
interesting.
You know, there used to be tag team partners. Were they NXT tag team champions or just partners in NXT? I can't remember.
I honestly don't even remember them being. I know they weren't tag champs because he was the. Wasn't he tag champs with Neville for a while?
That's what it was.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
He was tag champs with Neville. Yep.
Right.
The savior of misbehavior.
Right.
The savior of misbehavior.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool. You know, it'd be a way to get Seth, you know, and Corey back. You know, kind of
that would
together.
Be great. I would like that.
That's why they call me the Booker Man.
Booker Man.
So
hold on. I need to cut you off because Courtney, just acknowledging young Anthony as her favorite. I just wanted to bring that comment up, but thank you for that. Also, while I have the floor, Austin says,
"Is that a cousin? Is that a cousin?"
Austin also says that he would love to see Corey Graves as a heel. I think, if he comes back as a wrestler, he would probably have to be a heel. I don't know if face Corey Graves would work.
Yeah, you got to think too, like him being on commentary. You got to, you know, his mic skills are going to be through the roof as well. So the stuff that he says on commentary, I mean, he'll definitely add to if he does become a heel. But I've seen a lot of like rumblings of like, pun intended, of him, you know, being on commentary during, you know, the Rumble.
They do the old commentary spot.
The countdown happened, he just jumps up, but we'll see. I mean, maybe if he doesn't do commentary, maybe he'll be a secret entrant. Who knows? Or I don't know. It'd be pretty cool.
Hopefully they don't, you know, hopefully they don't announce him like they're doing for all the women, but
they probably will.
They probably will. One thing that I unfortunately have to disagree and that I don't want to see is him and Carmella making a heel duo. Because I don't want Corey Graves to just spend his return fawning over Carmella.
God, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Austin, but I would not want to see that. Or being in the main event.
He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.
He's gonna puke. They'll probably do it at one point, like a mixed tag match or whatever. But for the whole run, I think there's more things that you could do with Corey Graves than just you know, putting him with his significant other, which actually brings me to another question that I mentioned. You know, now with him off the commentary booth, he was probably like the if you know, if this all happens, he was probably like the top heel commentator that they had, because I feel like Pat McAfee's still a face, you know, so it doesn't really work. But you know, he was probably the top heel commentator and the top commentator for a while next to Michael Cole. So if he, you know, leaves the booth what do you see becoming the next commentary team? Is it still going to be what's his name, Jimmy Smith and Byron Saxon, or do you think they would add someone else in?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I would love that. I really would
see that.
It makes sense, you know. They're trying to kick out all the old guys. Might as well kick out the commentary too.
Yeah. I mean, get a Joe Blow. Get hire old JBone. I'll do the color commentary straight right here.
Right here, we would be great commentators.
Right here from the Parts and Notes studio.
We would be dropping AEW results on Raw, WCW style. No, I would love to see Wade Barrett. I think he would be a really good inclusion. Marco, do you have anyone in mind?
I can't even think of anyone else besides Wade Barrett. I mean, unless
you want to know why you can't think of anyone, because they cut them all. That's why.
That is true. I mean, you can bring the King back. I mean, he's always a good filler until they find.
You know, I actually know who else I like too is Booker. I like Booker on color.
Booker T. Yeah.
JBL. I would love.
You
to
didn't
see
just
JBL
say
back.
that. Oh man, he'd be great.
I mean, Jerry Lawler is just the one guy. Like Jerry Lawler in the 90s, of course. But Jerry Lawler in 2022,
I mean,
so cringy.
The bench is thin, guys. The bench is thin.
Yeah,
so
very true.
Thin bench at
the
the
bench
WWE,
is thin.
so.
We're gonna have to start calling out fans from the crowd. We have some. Tyson says, I got a chance to see Corey wrestle in NXT when I got the network. He was announcing his retirement. Yes, I do. I forget which takeover that was, but I remember him. It might have been the first takeover that he announced his retirement on the pre-show. And that was the start of his commentary career. So it's good to see it all hopefully come full circle. Austin says it's an easy out for, he's talking about Carmella and easy out for WWE booking. Just makes sense to bring those two together with how they've handled. You definitely have to expect it. I just think, like you said, it's kind of just an easy out. Like it makes sense why they would do it. Like, you know, blur the lines a little bit. You already had Corey Graves talking about Carmelo on commentary, so might as well. But
like the success that was Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.
Right.
Let's do that again.
Let's do it all over again. Really made them look strong. What else? So, what are your, before we move on to closing out outside the ropes, last minute predictions? Do you think we'll see Corey Graves back in the ring? Do you think we'll see him at the Royal Rumble? What are the odds, Boney?
I don't know. I could see maybe the Rumble, like they did a Rumble a couple of years ago, or it's actually almost like 10 years ago now. I think I had right at 10 years. It was Lawler, Michael Cole, and Booker T on commentary, and they all three entered the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So I could see him like getting up and maybe have a tearaway suit, Cesaro style, you know, get undied up, ready to go. You know, he'll have his little undies ready to go, and you know, maybe possibly. I would like to see, like I said, I would like to see him though get involved in the Seth match, and then kind of go from there. Kind of slowly.
I think that could be really fun.
Oh man,
slowly get him back into that way, you know. Where he can kind of be in the commentary for a little while, but being physically involved, you know.
Yeah, I would. You know what? Seeing like a blend, you know, of being in ring and being on commentary could definitely work too. So whatever they do with it, I'm sure it's going to work really well. Marco, any final thoughts?
No, I think John took that right there. I mean, he can do both. He doesn't have to be like a full-time in-ring competitor. He can do both, you know, commentary and be in the ring, but depends on what storyline they throw him in. Like we said, hopefully not a Carmella mashup on his first go around.
I'm sorry, Austin. Sorry we had to call you out on that one, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Corey Graves back in the ring, hopefully. Nevertheless, we're going to wrap up Outside the Ropes. Had a lot of great segments, but there is other things that need to be discussed, including our next segment, my favorite and yours.
Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and busters.
My favorite segment, even though I haven't watched in the last 3 weeks.
Oh my god!
The NXT report with our good friend Marco. Marco,
Oh,
what'd you
man.
think of NXT tonight? Well, first of
it-
all, let me actually go back to this comment as I was holding it off. So I didn't even know this happened until I checked Twitter. Hate to break the news, Nick Arias says, but if you didn't hear, Walter got a name change.
Which is not the worst thing in the world, because Walter, it sounds like my grandpa out there, right?
You know, that might have been Vince's reasoning too.
Yeah.
Walter, that sounds like my grandfather. So, Marco, what is the new name for Walter?
you know what? I didn't see the new name. I seen when they were in the back talking with it was him and Imperium having like a him like they were kind of like gassing him up for his match.
Let's see if I can find them.
They said Walter, unless they did at the end of
Yeah, they might have.
NXT. Maybe
It
he
looks
announced
like
his new
it.
name at the end of the match because he did win. There was kind of a brawl between Imperium and the Diamond Mine at the end to close out the show. But yeah, I mean, unless I missed it, when they had that backstage segment.
Oh,
Me and JBone both linked on that one. So actually, this brings us to our talking point that we wanted to bring up. Okay, Gunther Stark is the new name.
Is that
for
what?
Walter?
What's the name? What was it again?
Gunther Stark.
Oh.
So the WWE
All right. Show's over. I'm at it.
No. It gets
I'm
better.
done. That's
It gets better. Hold your horses.
It gets
So,
better.
WWE
Gunther.
recently filed a trademark for the name Gunther Stark. Randomly, no one knows why. The reason why this was so prevalent on Twitter
I can't
today
believe this.
is because, get ready, Gunther Stark was a lieutenant in the Nazi Navy, and the WWE trademarked his name. A Nazi commander. The WWE trademarked his name.
And this is a man built from Austria. So
From
if you
Austria,
know
yeah.
anything about Austria or the World War II,
yes.
in
yes.
1939,
Yes.
somebody from Germany invaded Austria, who was a part of the Nazi party. Like, oh my god!
It's
This is a sad day. Sad
pretty crazy.
Oh man,
I'm so glad I found this live on air.
Were they taking the whole like how he called himself the Ring General, and like is that what they were playing that off of? Like with that name?
Oh my
And
I don't
the
know.
mat is sacred, and
I hope. I mean,
are they going to take that gimmick away? That was like I love that whole thing, like the Imperium and like I mean, come to think of it, the Imperium does kind of sound. Along
Marco,
the lines of
like-
but here's my thing. My thing about Walter was yes, the name wasn't the most appealing name,
right.
but for me, the appeal of Walter was like, who the hell is this guy Walter? And then his music hits, and then
Exactly.
you see this giant ass silhouette at the ramp. That was the whole thing for me. Like you hear the name Walter, you don't think of this big giant dude that's just gonna kick the shit out of you. You just think of some like some skinny guy that's like, gonna do some aerial moves or something. But I thought that was the whole appeal of the name Walter to me.
Well, now I'm very
Revolta.
glad that whenever we see Walter, we will be able to think of a Nazi commander. I think that is unbelievable, and I would love to say,
Bang!
I almost said. I mean, you know what? I won't say it. I'll keep it off air.
I would love to say, let's let it play out.
Oh
But
my god!
the amount of things that we have let played out in 2021 alone, let's think. Karrion Kross with his fucking god awful armor.
Yeah,
Bearcat Lee was another one. Tony Storm getting called up to the main roster, being forgotten about, and then getting 2 pies to the face by Charlotte Flair.
Shotzi, Blackheart becoming just Shotzi,
taking all of her
No
Shotzi
tank.
Blackheartness away. Even the demon, we thought that the demon Finn Balor was going to be something, and then nothing happened with that. What else? Can anyone else think of anything? Drop it in the comments below if you can think of anything that we tried to let play out.
Here we go. Hold on.
The winner of this match is Gunther.
I don't know if you heard that or not.
That was actually,
We heard it loud and clear.
As we were going on air, I was watching, I had it on mute, and I seen him with the microphone. He's probably, that was probably
that's why you didn't hear it.
Oh,
because
gosh.
he announced just to announce it randomly. Okay, never mind the fact that he's named after a Nazi general or whatever he was.
Just a
Okay,
dumb name.
It is a very dumb name, Gunther Stark.
Oh my god,
man!
Why are they giving him a last name? Doesn't WWE take away last names? I thought people only had one name at WWE.
So many people were talking about how everyone thought Walter was going to be like a unanimous candidate for being in the Royal Rumble as a surprise.
I thought so.
Everyone had him in their final four. Everyone that I saw, and then.
I mean, this might be a definite now with the name change. He definitely.
Do you think? I honestly don't even know. They might be holding him in NXT to try to come up with a new gimmick for him. Fuck,
if he
this
comes
might
out
be. I'm sorry. This might be the worst thing booked in the last 5 years.
If he comes out with a freaking
not the last 5 years,
I don't know.
If he comes out with a uniform like what's his name, with the guy that walks out with Apollo Crews.
Oh my
God. Is it General Adnan or something?
The guy
like
that was in Raw Underground.
If he comes out like that with the hat,
he's gonna grow a little mustache like this.
Oh no!
No! I will say that I am intrigued. That doesn't mean I'm excited for it, but I'm intrigued to see how they ruin Walter.
I am not intrigued at all.
Oh, Walter.
Here's the thing. It's going to make me watch NXT next week because I want to see what they're... Is this the appeal that they're going for? Is it to get ratings, it's for us to be interested to see how they ruin their wrestlers?
Maybe. That might be the gimmick.
Are they banking on us being oh, Karrion Kross lost this week? Well, we got to see how he's going to lose next week. Is that how they're going to get their ratings from? Because honestly, it might work. I'm going to watch to see how they mess up Walter. But
Braun Breaker versus Gunther Stark.
Gunther Stark.
It's coming up.
Von Wagner versus so many.
Von Wagner. That's right.
So many dream matches. Plus, we didn't even talk about. I know she's not a prominent figure on NXT, but apparently Saray got a gimmick change too. That I'm looking on.
She's like a schoolgirl. It's like
anime. She's like
some type of anime. Yeah,
it's like straight out of Vince's fantasies.
Oh man,
the days of Asuka are gone.
Oh God, what are they gonna do when she comes back?
Oh no, Asuka, stay home wherever you are. If you're watching this,
stay with Kairi Sane, please.
If you watch or listen to this tomorrow, which would be Wednesday, stay home. Stay home, Asuka.
This is. I mean, what else can you talk about on the NXT report? I feel
that's great.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean,
we have a run-in from Matt's in the Cooler, as he says, it's insulting that they would intro a new name on NXT where there is history for Walter. It's a bit more on brand to rebrand someone on the main roster.
100%.
Yes, I always have said that the main fault of NXT 2.0 was calling it NXT because it's still associated with the NXT black and gold brand.
Yep.
Yeah.
As much as I like the new NXT 2.0, I think it's doing okay. As much as I enjoy it because it caters to my demographic, shit like this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe maybe we're at the point where the things that we don't think are going to work out will work out. I'm trying to be optimistic here. I'm the host. I need to be a little bit optimistic.
We'll see.
We'll see. I will watch next week. How about this? I'll give the NXT report next week. I'll give Marco a week off.
Yes.
So that
a recovery time from this.
Right. So I'll let you know the future.
I
of,
will never
Gunther
give the
Stark.
NXT. I will never give the NXT report. How about that?
That should be our punishment for like the predictions is whoever has
That's a good idea.
Actually, that is a good idea.
whoever has the
I'm
That's
down.
a great
whoever
idea.
has the lowest prediction score has to do the NXT report until the next pay-per-view.
I
All
like
right,
that
that's-
actually a
I
lot.
like that. All right,
That's
well,
good. That's
I like
good.
that.
You
That's
got your
fair.
deal, some deal.
We'll keep that in the back burner. Tyson says same with 205 Live. The cruiserweight titles no more. Yeah, I mean 205 Live hasn't had the cruiserweight title in like 2 years. So I mean, might as well have just fucking gotten rid of it. But oh man,
My head feels like a Chris Benoit head bump.
Oh my god!
From the top ropes. Okay, it's just
Oh,
it's
man.
scrambled. It's scrambled up there.
a lot of jokes I could make about that one, but I won't. I won't do that. All right. Well, how do you top the NXT report? Well,
Who won the week?
you go right into Raw versus SmackDown. Who won the week? All right. So, as I pull up the results for Raw and SmackDown, just to quickly go over what anyone might have missed, we had, let's see here, we had Doudrop and Becky Lynch defeating Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan. You had Kevin Owens defeating Damian Priest. You had Austin Theory defeating Finn Balor this week, which I thought was very interesting.
Yep.
Neke Cross and Rhea Ripley had some stuff. Omos won a squash match against Reggie. Let's see. We also had the Street Profits and Mysterios defeating the Dirty Dogs, Apollo Crews, and Commander Aziz.
Commander Aziz.
And we had, what happened in the main event? We had was it
Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley.
Seth and Lashley was a DQ, I believe.
Yeah.
Your typical
Yeah.
DQ finish.
Yeah, the Hurt Business came out and beat up. So now I guess they're called the Hurt Business now.
Right. Who
So
knows? Who knows?
they
at
took it
this
away
point?
from Bobby Lashley, but yeah.
The Hurt Business Gunther Stark edition.
The
And
Hurt
then over on
Business 2.0.
SmackDown, we had the Usos starting the show and a fatal four-way number one contenders match, which the Viking Raiders went on to win. I like that we're getting some new tag teams in the mix of things.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Sami Zayn presents In Zayn.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
A little Johnny Knoxville stuff going on. Aaliyah wins the shortest match in WWE history.
Yeah.
In 3.17 seconds, defeating Natalia. Lita returns to SmackDown and Charlotte interrupts as we get a twist of fate on Charlotte Flair, the worst twist of fate of all time, perhaps.
Yep.
Sheamus defeats Ricochet. Naomi gets her match against Sonya Deville. And then Madcap Moss defeats Kofi Kingston. God. He was Kofi Kingston was a WWE champion, by the way.
He
Just wanted to
was.
bring that up.
Yeah.
And then Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins have a nice face-to-face to end
That was
off the
good.
show. All right. A lot of stuff that happened here. I want to start talking
A lot of stuff.
about let's talk about everything that's going on with Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, all of this. How do you guys like them kind of blurring the lines with Seth Rollins, doing a jumping ship, from Raw and SmackDown, getting involved with the WWE title picture, the Usos jump ship? What do you guys think about all of this, Marco?
I like it. I do like, I did like the closing promo that they had at the end of SmackDown where, Seth Rollins gave his points. Hey, I created you, man. I can destroy you. And then obviously, Roman Reigns being the mega heel he is basically just like, dude, I mean, like when he said, I wouldn't even, he was like, if I wanted to main event with someone, he's like, it wouldn't have been you. It wouldn't have been, you would have been the one in your family that would have main event against. And then he brought up Becky Lynch as the, which is, I mean, she is a mega star. No offense to Seth Rollins, but she definitely is the bigger of the two. But yeah, I mean, no Brock Lesnar on SmackDown or Raw this week. So
Right.
that was kind of strange. But I do like the fact that they let the Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins thing breathe. I think they kind of took away from what Brock Lesnar said the week before, where he basically like challenged him to a title for title match. I think they're trying to maybe erase that from everyone's memories that he actually even said that. Because I'm not sure if like we talked about this already, combining the titles and making one title and all that stuff. But interesting enough, a lot of people have Seth Rollins winning. I'm not so sure if he's gonna win. If he does win, does he stay on SmackDown or does he go back to Raw? Because he did say on Monday that I'm going to take that title from Roman Reigns, bring it back to Raw, and make it red again. But then that would take Brock Lesnar, and he would have to go to SmackDown essentially. So, because you can't have obviously the two world champs on one show,
Right?
So, I mean, I'm not sure how that's gonna. Does Roman Reigns then follow Seth Rollins to Raw, and then Bobby Lashley move over to? I don't know.
This is another case of WWE just overcomplicating this.
Yeah,
like it's so.
I feel like they don't know, so they're trying to give them every possible out that they can get, so that like whenever they're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Like when it comes down to when they finally make a decision, like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, because we know they rewrite the show.
Yep.
Sometimes 30 minutes before the show goes live. So I think it's just they don't know what they're doing, honestly. It's a shame.
Well, actually, this leads me into
hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
My hot take of the week is I don't even think WWE knows who's going to win the Royal Rumble, be it the Raw, the men's or the women's side of things. I think they're just going to wing it the day of. And I think that is going to lead to a very controversial, a very shocking Rumble winner. I think something is going to happen that is just out of the blue. I don't know what it's going to be. Something is leading me. And also, all right. So I did the hot take sound effect because this is definitely going to be a hot take. But with the amount of attention that he's been getting on social media, and like the most attention out of probably anyone on Raw, oddly enough, I think there is a possibility with all the shocking shit that we've seen that Veer.
Oh my God.
Don't say it. Please don't say it. Please don't say it. Don't even say it.
JBone, what was your match of the week?
Man,
I'll get back to this, but what's your match of the week?
I'm gonna go with the tag team eliminator match thingy, whatever they had to open up SmackDown. I'm gonna go with that.
Good pick.
Because there was not very good matches this week.
Oh, no. Absolutely not. A lot of short matches too. Yeah. But like I said, I like that they're introducing a lot of new tag teams on this one. Or not necessarily new tag teams, but like tag teams that you normally wouldn't see in this spot. Like even Jinder and Shanky. It's good to see them getting a shot. But even like Mansoor and Cesaro, which are two of my favorite guys right now, I think it's cool that they're getting paired up. I'm surprised that it's not Cesaro and Ricochet since we saw them at the pay-per-view, but who knows? Marco, what was your match of the week?
Even though it was short, I'm going to go with Rollins and Lashley as my match of the week. I really did enjoy it. They kind of told a story with Seth Rollins working on Bobby Lashley's leg. It was like his left knee. So I wonder if that's going to come into play during his match with Brock Lesnar. And if Brock Lesnar's going to, obviously, he's probably going to show up on Raw next week, I'm assuming. Yeah. And he's definitely probably going to attack that leg and, or something's going to happen. But, and I did like the finish, even though it was a DQ. We got to see the Usos appear out of nowhere and actually get double super kick and stereo to Seth Rollins and leave him laying in the ring. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, I thought it was pretty decent. I always enjoyed watching Seth Rollins wrestle, especially with Lashley, just to see how that dynamic works. Obviously, Seth Rollins is the biggest guy in the world, and just to see how he maneuvers around Lashley, and he, like I said, he worked the leg, and I think that's going to tell a story at the Royal Rumble. And that's going to give kind of Bobby Lashley an out if he does take the dive to Brock Lesnar.
Good picks all around. I would have to go with Priest and KO. I think they had a really good match.
Was a good one.
I thought the finish was okay. I think they could have improved upon it, but Owens faking the leg injury I thought was cool. And it gives Owens a future US title shot in the future. So I guess that's where they're going with him. I don't mind it. I think Priest and Owens is definitely the best mid-card match that you could do right now. So we would have to see where they go with that, but maybe we see Owens as a US champion soon.
I would like to eventually see the title getting taken off of Priest. So he can make a world title run.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the women's side of things. We'll start with Raw just to get it out of the way. What are you guys thinking about this whole Raw women's title picture?
Stupid.
You have Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair still riding the coattails, trying to get their title shot. You got Doudrop, who's now all of a sudden doing the Yokozuna bonsai drop, which I think is just typical booking of Vince. I wonder who her Mr. Fuji is going to be. Maybe who haven't we seen in a while that could be her Mr. Fuji. Anyways, Becky Lynch just doesn't look great as a heel. I don't know. I'm not liking this. As we actually have a new viewer, Ace Field Retro Wrestling. Welcome. The jobber treatment of Finn Balor during the episode is unforgivable and just misguided booking. Have to agree with you. I
think Finn's on the way out.
He's got to be. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him if he requests his release, but they're really trying to push Austin Theory. That makes me think also, and I already did the hot takes thing, but maybe Austin Theory is the Rumble winner. If Vince is with Austin Theory so much.
Yeah. That's
maybe. He also says all we need to know about lack of WWE consistency. Damian Priest loses for the first time and it's never mentioned. Yeah. I didn't even realize that. That's the first time. That's
to your point.
Oh man, I wouldn't. I'm not surprised though.
Check out Acefield Retro just started following me, so go check them out. They post a lot of good news article stuff. So
Acefield Retro, I hope you become a regular here. We got a great group here at the tavern. We doing lives every Tuesday at 10 for your WWE content and all other days. But so back on the topic of the women's Raw division, Marco, what are your thoughts on everything? Do you take Doudrop as a viable candidate to Becky Lynch?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's really nobody in the Raw women's division right now that can, go against Becky Lynch as far as we've seen Liv a ton of times. We've seen Bianca a ton of times. I mean, I think Doudrop's obviously the next to try to push her a lot more. I mean, Carmella would probably be the next, but she's a heel, so she's not really a face in that sense. I don't know. It's kind of in shambles, we'll say, for the women's division there. But
I would love to know who's the heel, Doudrop or Becky Lynch. But
exactly.
Besides the point.
Yeah.
Boney, go ahead. What were you saying?
And they need more just, I'm not going to say mid-card matches, but it's just secondary matches, like on AEW with Sheeta and Serena Deeb. Like, that feud has been fire.
Yeah.
And, they need stuff, doesn't have to be around the title. Like, it's such lazy freaking booking.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have the women for it. They're cutting everybody, and they got a brand split. I mean, what your secondary feud right now is Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross, superhero.
That's another thing. What about Rhea? Why isn't she in the title picture? Why are they
I'm
have
hoping
her
that
face
this feud is building
Becky?
to Rhea versus Becky.
They've buried Rhea since her main roster.
Yeah.
She got up the main roster.
Yep. Very, very true. And over on the SmackDown side, I think it's just really interesting that there's no feud for Charlotte right now. She's just inserting herself in the Rumble. Although she's still kind of feuding with Naomi, kind of feuding with, a few other people. But now all of a sudden, Lita is back in the mix of things. And it seems like from her promo that she's getting like one more run. I mean, she's doing the Rumble. I would have to assume that she's working Mania if she's, cutting promos and doing all of this. She's got to be wrestling at Mania. So I want to know from you guys, if you were to book a dream match with Lita at WrestleMania, who would you pick and why? Let's start with Marco.
Man, with anyone from like Raw or SmackDown or just SmackDown?
Fuck it. We blur the lines anyways with Seth Rollins.
Let's see, Lita.
Because I know who I'm going with easily.
I'm gonna go with Edge.
Nice.
I was gonna say Edge. I mean, it definitely has to be Beth Phoenix.
Hey man, if there's ever a forbidden door that needs to be open,
that's my pick. I'm gonna go with Beth. I'm gonna go with Beth.
Bring
Phoenix.
back Fight This.
The match for custody of Edge.
Oh my goodness, that's great. Beth and Lita would be a fun match.
That would be fun.
The promos would be good.
Oh yeah, true.
That storyline would be.
Get Matt Hardy in that story. God.
Oh man.
I know. Who
I
I'm
had
going
him
with.
first, you bitch.
Easily, Lita versus Bailey would be a great match.
See, I forget
Promos
about
would be great.
Yeah, forget about Bailey, man. Bailey's on SmackDown. That's right.
Yeah, and she's
right.
Hopefully she's coming back for Mania. I don't know.
I think she is.
Yeah,
I think by Rumble she'll be back. Honestly,
it'll be well over a year by the time Mania comes around that she's been out. So,
that was
not well over a year, but
yeah,
it's been about half a year.
Yeah,
I think Bailey would be a good pace match for
you're
Lita.
right, because I'm thinking that Bailey was out for Mania, but they just didn't book her on Mania. She was the
host. She's kind of like
the host.
Yeah,
stuff.
she was like hosting.
Yeah, I thought I thought that they did that because she was injured, but it's there wasn't a spot for her.
That was
it'll be half a year. You're right.
Yeah. Hopefully, that'd be awesome. I mean, I think that'd be a really good tune-up type of match for Lita.
Yeah.
I mean,
like a nice retirement match.
Yeah, she hasn't been in the ring. I mean, you can't put her in the ring with like an Asuka because Asuka's like way too fast paced.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't want to make Lita look bad, but yeah,
or even Charlotte. I mean,
Charlotte maybe retire both of them, retire Trish and Lita.
That would be crazy. Charlotte versus Lita for the title. I wouldn't mind. I mean, who else?
I mean,
who else do you have?
You gotta. I mean, Mickey James. If you want to do the really open the forbidden door, have the Knockouts champion face the SmackDown Women's champion. That'd be pretty sick.
Well, it is. Match. It is time to open the door one more time for any last minute
hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
The door is open for any last minute hot takes. Get them while you can. Get them while they're hot. Anyone else, or should I continue my hot take from before?
No, you can continue it, but I'm not sure this is a hot take. But I mean, I think they should just, as of right now, just can NXT 2.0. Just take it off the air. Just shut it down. Put up caution tape around the around the door. Just Walter, how could you?
Gunther Stark, everybody.
South slang, rolling with these hot.
My favorite. Oh man,
so upsetting.
I at this point at least just put it on Peacock. Don't put it on national TV. I like the show, but I don't like what they're doing with a lot of the talent. Boney, any hot takes from you?
I really don't have too much. I mean, I don't know. My brain is kind of really just in scramble mode right now because I'm kind of still recovering from Gunther and Walter.
I mean,
it just fucked you up.
They had the
What
like
Really,
the ringside exclusive Walter.
I was
like,
thinking about that.
one of
I
the
was thinking about
best figures that they released, like the opening up of the you open it up and you have like the fold out Walter stage
in NXT all over it too.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's just
This is rough.
He's
It was a
gonna-
rough day.
He's gonna Gunther. He's
That
gonna
was it.
Gunther.
Vince pulled the final straw. I think that was it. I think that was it. That's gonna. If people don't revolt after this, I don't know what's gonna stop.
Speaking of the final straw, if no one has any other hot takes, allow me to continue my hot take from before. As I say, if not win the Rumble, because of how much praise he's been getting on social media and because of how long they've been dragging this out, I feel like Veer has a chance at making a big statement in the Rumble, be it eliminate someone big, do a surprise entrance. God, they could let him win the Rumble. I'm at the point where I know no one else that could win it.
You know
it's
what?
Bad when my number one pick right now is Austin Theory. That
Either-
tells you how wide open the door is.
Yeah.
Veer's in my top 5 of people that could win the Rumble.
Either that or the Elimination Chamber, because it's taking place not
Damn.
in another part of the world. So he could enter the Elimination Chamber, and
You mean the WrestleMania chamber?
yes, the that was a rumor that they're gonna call it the WrestleMania Chamber.
Ooh, hot take. Braun Breaker will win the Rumble as NXT champ. I do like the theory.
That's a possibility.
I gotta get.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I gotta give him the old audio for that one. That is a hot take. I mean, who else? Who else is there? That makes our Rumble predictions video.
I've declared for the Royal Rumble. I can win it.
I mean, I hear a Lay is making an appearance too. Who knows? But, I mean, Braun Breaker.
That's a good.
It could happen. It could happen.
Yeah,
Veer could happen. That's all I'll say.
Gunther could enter. Gunther could enter and win the Rumble.
I just went to the bathroom and Gunther as you're talking about that.
Oh my god!
Will you stop it?
Jeez.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, it is time for our final segment.
Who won the week?
Comes down to this: Raw versus SmackDown. Who won the week? Marco, let me hear you pick.
I'm gonna go with. This is rough. I'm gonna go with SmackDown this week. I think mainly because of how they ended the show with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns going back and forth. I did enjoy Zayn. I thought that was pretty funny. Him like attempting to do some jackass stuff, but obviously, he's too scared to do it. I did like the Lita appearance as well. How she mixed it up with Charlotte. Didn't really care for the Guinness Book of World Records gimmick that Natalya has right now. But other than that, no, I think obviously it was a smaller, shorter show, 2 hours. So I'm gonna go with SmackDown over Raw this week for me anyway.
2 hours over 3 hours, always a good pick.
It was pretty entertaining.
They somehow stuffed 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound sack from SmackDown. So I'm going to give them that credit that they did that and say SmackDown won.
I will also give it to SmackDown. I think it had a lot of good stuff in it. Roman and Seth. I like to see new tag teams getting in the mix of things. I even like as much as it was dumb, like the Aaliyah stuff. It was cool to see.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That it was actually a record 3 and 17 seconds or whatever it was.
Any show where there's no 24/7 championship in the middle of it, I think is going to win. So SmackDown might win every week, actually.
Hey, you'd be surprised. We've got a few Raws that won.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I know. Yeah.
So we'll see. But with that, we actually have a few people coming in with some comments here. Tyson says that he's going with SmackDown as well.
There you go.
All right. a new viewer. We have 2 new viewers today. Code
Look at
Equestria.
this.
I actually
Wow.
do know Code Equestria. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Haven't heard from you in a while, so it's good that you're here on the tavern. You're right where you need to be. Join in every day of the week because we post every day, don't we? And Chad brings up a very good point. He is pumped for Anthony, me, to put that RAWDOWN title on the line with these Rumble picks next week. God, I forgot the Royal Rumble is next week, ladies and gentlemen, which only means one thing. This title right here, which again, can't believe it's right next to Marco, but that's besides the point.
Oh, this way.
Yeah,
There it is, right there.
My
There it
RAWDOWN
is.
Predictions Championship,
there.
the beautiful championship, will be on the line as we give our Royal Rumble predictions. It will probably be the most outlandish predictions that we will give.
Yeah.
Could go any way, ladies and gentlemen.
It's unpredictable.
Code Equestria, nice to be here. Nice to have you here. Hope you stay. Who is going to win the Rumbles? Who is going to walk out as champion? But most importantly, who is going to close out as your RAWDOWN Predictions champion? But even more importantly, who will be giving the NXT report until the Elimination Chamber in
I don't
Saudi
even care
Arabia?
about the title anymore. I don't want to.
You see, we need to bring some stakes into this. So this is a good. The loser is going to give the NXT report until I guess Elimination Chamber or whatever event happens before Mania.
Dang.
We are putting it on the line. That's the true championship. As much as I can hold around this graphic, like shit. Who's going to talk about NXT for the next month?
Oh boy.
We'll have to wait and see. With that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for another great episode of the RAWDOWN. Hey man, Tyson might be joining in on the seeing a real world champion. We gotta see. And Chad, of course, loves the stakes. Thank you.
Torture.
I know this makes things interesting. We've just taken this to another level. I want to thank you all for another successful episode of the RAWDOWN. Before we go, of course, we got to let the men plug their channels. JBone, where can we find Coming Down the Aisle?
Head over to comingdowntheaislepod.com to find all the links. Subscribe to YouTube. I just filmed an unboxing. I'll say it's an excellent execution of an unboxing I just did. And I recorded my interview this week with Matt in the Cooler. We watch Cactus Jack versus Triple H, and check out the bonus episode of The List. My buddy, the Ultimate Miles, and I break down the top 10 Royal Rumble matches.
Ooh, is that the actual 30-man Rumble, or is it just any match?
Just a Royal Rumble match?
I like it.
Yeah, we give our top 10.
Nice. Marco, where are we finding the Chick Foley Show?
You are finding us at chickfoley.com. Obviously, Chick Foley Show on IG. Chick Foley Show on Twitter and Chick Foley on IG. We have a couple of shows. We're picking back up our Royal Rumble series that we've been doing. So in honor of Pat Patterson, we started this pretty much after he passed away. So we've done a watch along with every single Royal Rumble up until I believe the next one we're doing is 95. So we're doing Royal Rumble 95 watch along. And then look out for our Royal Rumble preview show that'll be coming up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, you know what? Pod Foundation, can't forget that.
Oh yeah.
You can find everything. Coming Down the Aisle, Turnbuckle Tavern, Chick Foley Show, Extra Cooler Show, everything up to date on Pod Foundation IG as well as Pod Foundation on Twitter. That's pretty much it. I mean, we're chock full of content. Pod Foundation. It's mainly Turnbuckle is a lot of the content, but still, definitely get all your fixings there at Pod Foundation.
Pod Foundation, best in the game. No one comes close, but that's not an opinion. That's a spoiler. What? Never mind.
It's not.
I also want to give a big announcement I know I have mentioned it multiple times here on the tavern, and I know that I haven't capitalized on this announcement. However, I'm putting my foot down because the episode is already recorded and it's going to happen. The Classic Match Classroom is making its return this Sunday. It is finally. Thank you. Yes, myself and Tyler from Count It Out with Mike and Tyler are going to be bringing back the classroom for the second semester of a lot of great matches coming soon. We start off this week with a banger as we relive the feud that was, in typical Royal Rumble season fashion, Triple H versus Cactus Jack from Royal Rumble 2000. First time I've ever seen this match. First time I've ever seen the feud.
Whoa!
Oh man, you're in for a fun little treat.
That's cool.
Won't give any spoilers, but I did very much enjoy the feud. However, I did very much not enjoy Triple H on the mic. Stay tuned Sunday to hear me talk more about that.
I'm the game.
And I'm going to give a 20-minute promo.
Listen, are you
in the
ready?
middle of the ring.
Are you ready?
But yes, you can find Classic Match Classroom updates on Instagram at Classic Match Classroom, on Twitter at CM Classroom, and we post on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts. So glad to be back. Glad to be in the mix of things with my other fellow podcast fellas to my side.
Of course.
And also, before we go, I do want to give a big shout out to everyone who was in the chat tonight because we had a lot of active members tonight.
Yeah.
Code Equestria and Acefield Retro Wrestling specifically for being new viewers. Hope you guys stick around. Like I said, we have some great content. Turnbuckle Tavern. Make sure you subscribe to us. Leave a like on this video. Tell us what you thought of this week in wrestling as it pertains to the WWE. What were your thoughts on some of these news stories? Do you like the name Gunther Stark? We're probably going to get a lot of no's in the comments this week, but also, do you think Veer will win the Royal Rumble? I think we're going to get a lot of yeses on that one. So,
oh my god!
Nevertheless,
please make Veer your pick next week, please.
Honestly,
I
might.
I think the final three in the Royal Rumble is going to be Veer, Gunther Stark, and Braun Breaker. Those will be the last three men in the ring.
And the final four will be
and Reggie,
Austin
and Reggie.
Theory.
Oh,
we got to throw Austin Theory, Reggie.
Oh man, that's right. Yeah, Austin
Who
Theory.
Else? Fucking
the future of WWE is looking bright, guys. That's all I gotta say.
The Goon's coming back. He's gonna be tossing
the Goon.
He's gonna be tossing mother freakers over the ropes.
Gunther. Oh man. What if that's a gimmick? Oh, geez. Comes out with like hockey uniform.
God.
Gunther.
God. Acefield Retro. Excited to hop on the debate show somewhere down the line. Looking forward to it. Amazing to hang out with you guys tonight. Of course.
Thanks, Acefield.
Priest in at the end. Who knows? We're going to have to tune in. We're going to have to tune in next week to figure out who we think is going to win the Royal Rumble. But with all of that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to yet another episode of the RAWDOWN. We will see you next week for our Royal Rumble predictions episode. But until then, take care. Spike your hair. Woo, woo, woo.
You know it.
You know it. Gunther Stark for the win.